I have a slight suspicion a lot of these like new UFO sightings, it's just SpaceX stuff.
Some of it is. Oh, I know for a fact some of it is. My friend videotaped
The one where it's like and then it opens up.
Oh, that rocket one.
There's a couple videos on it.
Yeah, that just
multiple
looks like,
different times, and that's SpaceX rockets, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know if it's SpaceX or not, but it's conventional rocketry for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing weird about it. My friend sent me a video that he took when he was just chilling outside one night, and it was a string of lights, like 5 lights just going in a string. And I looked into it, and it's just his stupid, like, fucking Skynet or whatever it's called, his Starlink satellites.
Oh, really?
Just reflecting light from the sun or something on the other side. Like, it was nighttime, but, like, because it's so high up, it was reflecting light from something. But yeah, a lot of people had been seeing those Starlink satellites thinking they're like a string of UFOs or something like that.
The other one I've seen a handful of now again is like, it's like one light that's like kind of blinking and then lights up and then goes.
Yeah.
And then like blinks again. And then lights up and then it's just like. And it's just like, what the fuck? And people are like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? It's like insane how fast it just goes, like across the sky, like 200 miles, just like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be like one of those new high-speed drones. I mean, a lot of these flying saucers just behave like drones. They can move real quick. I don't know. Did anyone try to explain this? Did you look into it?
No, it was just a YouTube or Instagram thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, and then it just kept scrolling.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's, identifying like an authentic, unexplainable phenomenon from an explainable one is a challenge, especially today, because people have drones that can move very, very quickly and stop very, very quickly. They're very stable.
Yeah.
So like it looks like it's making an impossible maneuver, but it's not anymore. Those maneuvers are not impossible.
Yeah.
Maybe back in the 1950s, it would have been weird to see something like that, but today it's not that weird.
The ones that I was seeing reminds me of a lot of that video of the Dome of the Rock.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of fake versions of that video out there.
Oh, really?
Like edited weird versions that are obviously fake to try, I guess, throw people off the scent of the real one. But I remember when we watched that real one. That was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago when we watched that. But yeah, the flash of light that came from it is what was very telling to me. That was probably an authentic experience or an authentically unexplained experience because the flash of light looked real. It was picked up on the camera. It was from multiple cameras. There were multiple angles we saw.
Yeah.
And it illuminated the whole city.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that is very interesting. That is very difficult to fake, especially from multiple camera angles and crappy cell phones and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that one was some type of unexplained, maybe a spectral type of phenomena, not mechanical. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think it was something other than mechanical, something subtler. Yeah, don't know what it was, but over these places like the Dome of the Rock and the Church of St. Mary in Cairo that had similar visitations in the 60s, I think, or maybe it was the 80s. Crap, I can't remember. But strange plasma phenomena showing up. Yeah, God, I gotta find the actual date. It's in that pink bound book, Origins of the Gods. They describe it in that book. But I heard about it when I was a kid as well. But yeah, it showed up every day for, I think, 1 month, every single night. And it was like a whitish glob of plasma or radiation or something that would show up on the roof of this church. And this church used to be like a temple before Christianity, and before the pagan temple was there. It was like a holy site for like shamanic cultures who lived there. It was always a holy site, this area. And this bright white plasma ball would morph and turn into what looked like a woman in a robe. And of course, Christians in Egypt are going to call it the Virgin Mary. And it like took on the form of the Virgin Mary. And it showed up every single night at around 10 p.m. for like an hour for like a month. And millions of people saw it. There are hundreds of photographs and films of it. Hundreds. And it's one of the most well-documented cases of a strange phenomenon. And, like, nobody can debunk it. I mean, millions of people saw this thing. It was like everybody gathered every single night in the streets, packed, cramming the streets of Cairo, or the suburb outside of Cairo. And it was just such a bizarre thing. And there are stories of that place where there was always strange light phenomena going back thousands of years. That light phenomena will show up at this particular spot every now and again. And then, it must have been in the 60s, because then I think the war against Israel broke out. The so-called 6 Days War or whatever. Between, Jordan, Egypt, and Israel fought for like a week or something like that. Yeah, this was right before that happened.
And on the 7th day.
Yeah. There was a host of angels that showed up, right? They rested, yeah. They fell asleep. But I think like there's an Israeli soldier who saw like a host of angels come over a mountain, and he like fell into a trance that week. And there was some strange stuff going on in Egypt that year. And but that's one of the most well-documented things, most photographed, most filmed, quote-unquote UFO phenomena ever. It's pretty cool. Millions of witnesses, man. Yeah.
What church?
I think it was, I don't know the Arabic or Egyptian words for it, but we would call it, I think it was just the Church of St. Mary. I don't know how you would say that in that language that they would speak. And I think it was 1968. I could be mistaken. 67, 68. But then a part of me wants to say it was in the 80s. I don't really remember. I read so many of these freaking reports that it all gets mushed up. But yeah, the key words would be like suburb of Cairo, apparition of the Virgin Mary on the roof of a church. Like keywords like that should produce something. Or you just grab that book and look for it if you don't feel like using the internet. But yeah, there are something like 8 million witnesses. That's it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's one of the photos. That's a good photo. But it would move around the church. It would start out just like a glob of white orb.
That's really weird, because you could see like hands like this. Shoulders, hands, and then an orb around the head. Yeah,
it would take like 10 minutes to slowly morph into the shape of a woman. It started out just like an amorphous blob.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's very cool. It makes you wonder, like, what is that? What is that phenomenon? It's something I've been trying to get to the bottom of my whole life, understanding that type of phenomena. Yeah, I look for all kinds of strange plasma phenomena like that, and it's so easy to fake those videos today. Well, I wouldn't say it's easy, but people do it. Fortunately, there are really good videographer or video analysts out there who can tell when it's fake. You'll see the digital fingerprints on it, or there's some really good analysts out there, thankfully. But when you get the real photos, that stuff's cool. Especially when it's clear and nice. Because, like, every time you see... That's one of the funniest things about UFO research is the photos are always crap quality.
Oh, yeah. Always horrendous quality. And you're like, come on.
But there's, like, a thing about the phenomenon that, like, the phenomenon itself doesn't want to be photographed. There's, like, a hypnotic effect with the people in the presence of the phenomenon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like, for instance, my dad's friend is a photographer, and he was a professional photographer for newspapers and magazines and stuff back in the 80s. And have you ever heard of the Hudson River Valley sighting up on 287 in 1987?
Yeah.
There was this enormous, what people described as a spacecraft. And it was very low to the ground, maybe less than 150 feet above everybody. And they could see the details. They could see that they described it as being made out of metal. They could see lights shining on it, red, white, blue, orange, lights blinking. It shined down like a beam of light onto the highway. Everybody pulled over their cars, got out of their cars, and looked up at this thing as it just slowly moved up. Visitors of the Sixth Kind, or whatever that movie. Oh, Close Encounters of the Third
Encounters.
Kind.
Isn't that?
It looked a lot like that.
Isn't that what that movie's based on?
Oh, that movie came out 10 years earlier.
Oh.
But I mean, I'm sure it was based on similar events.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But not this particular event, but I'm sure similar events. But yeah, it looked like one of those ships, like just, it looked like a metallic craft of some kind.
Sombrero.
And my dad's friend just looked at it and like he's got his camera right in his passenger seat, all set up and ready to go. And he did not think of grabbing his camera to take a photograph. Mm-hmm. And he's a professional photographer. It's what he does all day, every day. And he just didn't think of taking a picture. There are researchers who who are looking for Loch Ness Monster up in Scotland, set up cameras everywhere. They set up, I think, 94 cameras all throughout the shoreline. And they saw the Loch Ness Monster with their eyes. They were on the shore, and it showed up in this spot, breached its head over the water, swam in a small circle, and then went back under. And it was in such a spot that not one single camera caught it. It was in that perfect spot, in the perfect angle, where none of these 90-plus cameras were aimed at it. It's like it knew. There are so many stories like this.
Yeah, and why would you make up that story?
Yeah, because it makes you sound like a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you sound even crazier than people already think you are looking for the Loch Ness Monster.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, that would ruin your reputation. And these were professional photographers and researchers who obviously have enough problems with their reputation looking for the Loch Ness Monster. Yeah, like, I believe they were telling the truth. You know, I've experienced the effect of it myself. Like, I was talking to someone, I guess you could call him an insider, and he was talking to me, and he's like, "Oh, you think there's something to those UFOs?" And then he like wanted to talk to me about UFOs, which is my favorite subject. And for some reason, I blew the guy off. I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't really have time to discuss this right now or whatever. And like, this guy is an Air Force colonel. And he wanted to talk to me about UFOs. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of busy. I'm trying to make lunch. Like, I don't really want to talk about this. And it's like, and then like 20 minutes later, I was eating my lunch and I sat down. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? An Air Force colonel wanted to talk to me about UFOs and I blew the guy off. I was like hypnotized. So this phenomenon has a psychological effect on the experiencers of it and the people interested in it. It's not just like aliens from space or something like that. It's a much deeper thing going on that is deeply connected to the human mind. And it wants to remain hidden or obscure. It wants to only be known a little bit. It wants to be mysterious. And people who are really interested in the phenomena, we have our lives fucked with on multiple levels. Just by being interested in the phenomenon. Just by trying to understand it, being interested in it, being around it, it fucks with your life. It can ruin your life. It drives some people insane. It drives some people to financial ruin, relationship ruin, marginalizes people, lowers their social status in many, many different ways. And it's such a bizarre aspect of the phenomenon.
It's so true.
Yeah. It's like
that's a piece of it that people don't talk about.
Yeah, because it sounds untrue. It's like, how could that be? Like, what do you mean the UFO phenomenon makes your girlfriend leave you? It's like, that doesn't make sense. It's like, but it happens. It happens to everybody. It's like, yeah, I mean, they say the reward for researching UFOs is an empty dinner table.
Whoa. Who said that?
I said that. Oh. Trying to make it stick.
It's a good one.
But John Keel said something similar to that, like in his Mothman prophecies. You know that guy?
Yeah.
He said something like that. I think that's where I got the idea. Like, I didn't fully come up with this on my own. I think John Keel said something like, the reward for studying paranormal phenomenon is that everybody hates you and that your life gets ruined. Yeah. And it's like, it's not that everybody hates you for a specific reason. It's just that, like, your life just becomes difficult for like almost no explicable reason. It's just everybody stops reacting to you nicely, except for people who are probably on your same wavelength. They'll be fine.
To have questions.
Yeah, or it's like, girls just won't say hello to you anymore. They don't even know who you are, like strangers at a bar or something. Like, they'll just walk away from you when you approach them. It's like there's like a something that happens to your aura or something to your energetic signature that certain people will just be repulsed by you. If you're interested in paranormal or occult phenomena, normies will become repelled by you because, like, you've magnetized yourself in a different way.
I think girls walk away from from you at the bar 98% of the time.
Probably true.
I don't mean it like you.
Oh, you just mean in general.
In general.
I was thinking,
Sorry?
Is that a jab at me, Tom?
No, just in general.
You're trying to be funny, Tom.
There's no place to pick up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was just trying to think of some example off the top of my head. But, like, you become repellent to people if, like, you get deep in the study of paranormal things. Just for some reason, you stop jiving with people, or people stop jiving with you. Yeah, it's weird. Except for people who are on the same wavelength as you. Obviously, they're not going to mind.
It's like there's a plane. You know, I mean, we know there's multiple dimensions. Mm-hmm. So if you spend a certain amount of time studying and or meditating and putting energy into something that doesn't make sense because it's not necessarily within our dimension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it polarizes you in a weird way. It magnetizes you.
Radiation or something like that, you know? I don't know.
Well, the UFO phenomenon does have radiation associated with it.
Yeah.
You get sunburn at midnight.
Plasma.
Yeah. Get conjunctivitis.
What is that?
It's like when your eyes are exposed to too much radiation and then you kind of get like a cataract on it.
Oh.
And like the cataract then starts to eject fluid and it's all gross and shit. It's called conjunctivitis, and it can be caused by multiple things, but it can also be caused by radiation exposure. So a lot of people who have witnessed UFOs will get conjunctivitis and a slight sunburn. Some people, like this guy in Brazil, I think in the 80s or earlier, he died. His skin fell off in chunks after seeing a UFO.
Jesus.
He got blasted with an enormous amount of gamma radiation, and within like 2 days, his skin was just sloughing off right off of his skeleton, and he died. It was crazy. The dude just melted from seeing a UFO.
What?
Yeah.
It's like Ak-Ak-a-Dak.
Ak-Ak-a-Dak? What? Ak-Ak-a-Dak?
What's that movie?
Mars Attacks?
Yeah.
How did I get that? Ak-Ak-a-Dak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like their weird language.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a creepy movie.
Jack Black gets melted.
Yeah, I don't remember. Jack Black's in that movie?
He's like the first soldier that gets like shot with a ray and like turned into a skeleton and just falls on the ground.
Yeah.
It's Jack Black.
Oh man, I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Yeah.
I love Jack Black.
I know, I do too. I thought that shit was so funny because I had like rewatched it like, I don't know, like a year or two ago. And I was like, holy shit, it's young Jack Black.
It's young Jack Black.
What the hell?
I remember that movie being very unsettling. I didn't like it. I just thought it was a creepy vibe in that movie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like there's
yodeling.
Something.
There's yodeling involved.
Yeah, there's just something off about that movie. Was it Tim Burton? Is that a Tim Burton
Is
jam?
that a Tim Burton movie?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, my dad loves that freaking movie. Mars Attacks.
Who made Mars Attacks?
Who made it? Who directed it?
Larry J. Franco? Tim Burton.
It is.
And Laurie Parker.
Yeah.
Well, it is Tim Burton.
It felt like a Tim Burton movie.
Huh.
He's got a fingerprint, that guy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Easy to identify.
We mostly all have fingerprints.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. This is kind of off
It's a
topic.
funny sentence.
Talking about most of us have fingerprints, unless you're in the Men in Black when they burn them off. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like music has a fingerprint. Like I can guess the year any song was recorded.
Shut up.
I can get pretty close. You want to test me? Mm-hmm. I want to test me. I want to see if I can do it. Oh, we're gonna get copyright striked. God damn it.
Oh well. That would have been fun.
It would have been. We'll do it when the cameras are off. Something interesting that the audience would want to see. We'll do it when they're not watching. Yeah. But like I'll just listen to it. I'll be like, that's probably 1973. And then we'll look it up and it'll be like, oh, 74. It's like, But it was like, I was close. Because like you can just hear it. It has like a signature.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you have can we pause? I have to pee.
Yeah, sure. Click. Everything come out all right?
Yeah. You've seen the movie Haggard?
Haggard?
Yeah.
No.
It was like the CKY crew.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry. The CKY crew.
I think you're off frame. You gotta get.
Oh, I gotta go in?
Yeah.
I gotta go back. Remember CKY?
Yeah, I remember CKY.
Yeah, so they came out with a movie called Haggard.
Oh, okay. Oh, I seen that. Yeah, long time. This was 2002, maybe 2003.
Jeez, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. I think I got like a VHS of it back in the day.
Yeah, it was like black market. Like I got it on like a Burns CD, DVD.
I think I ordered it from like some like noise rock magazine that my friend was subscribed to.
Yeah, Bam was like selling them out of the back of his car.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we used to be able to get that. I mean,
then people were like reselling it, and it was like hard to get your hands on.
I'm pretty sure my friend had one of those DVDs or VHS or something.
Naked Dave. They go into a
what? Go into what?
It's like a not pinball, but like a video game.
An arcade?
An arcade, yeah. They go into an arcade and there's just this naked dude like playing at the arcade and like he runs the place.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's Naked Dave. Huh. He turns around and he's like, you ever feel a cold breeze blow up against your cock and balls? Now that's freedom.
I have, in fact, many times. Many times.
Like, there's so many weird quotes from that movie.
I love Brandon DiCamillo's prank phone calls.
Oh, yeah.
Those are my
favorite one was when he called a restaurant because he forgot his wallet there, but you could take my money and my credit cards. I just want my Pete Rose rookie card back.
Right.
Again, I love that type of art form where it's not fucking with people necessarily, but like just blowing the doors off the status quo.
Mm-hmm. Did they? Did they blow the doors off the status quo?
Well, in terms of like trying to be funny and doing like sketch comedy, the next thing you know, they're doing things where they're just like crashing a person in a shopping cart into a bush in front of some like old woman, and she's like, oh Jesus, like you're kind of breaking the mold a little bit there, right?
Yeah, Monty
for
Python
humor
did a couple things like that in public back in the 60s.
Did they?
Yeah, not so painful and vulgar.
Yeah.
But they would like interact with random people on the street and be, playing their funny characters. They didn't do anything that was like shocking though. Like, like scary, like should I call the police right now kind of a thing.
Yeah. But I don't know, again, to me, and it sounds so strange to like try to put it this way, but there's something so romantic about taking a house of an idea that has become a thing, and then just completely flipping it upside down.
So the attic becomes the basement?
Yeah, and then it's just like, what the fuck? And like the average person who like might love the previous thing, it's just like, I can't function. I hate this. This is bad. It's bad. It's bad. There's something so much fun about that to me that is so funny. Yeah. And it's the same thing in music, right? Like even if you look at when Elvin Jones did his thing with Coltrane, and right before that he was like, word got out, you couldn't play with me.
Right.
Because I wasn't ding 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 ding.
Yeah. But
the whole show, I started messing around with it and like over the bar line crazy drum patterns, like it bled in from the horns playing over the bar line stuff, but the drummer's just like, I'm just keeping it here. He like ran with that too, and then became a synergy with that world, and people didn't want to play with him.
Because probably people couldn't.
Well,
it was probably too difficult. They needed to learn the style.
Yeah. But he's considered one of the greatest jazz drummers of all time, and one of the godfathers of contemporary jazz drumming, as it were.
Without him, we wouldn't have had Chick Corea, Mm-hmm. Like, Chick Corea took that torch and fucking ran with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now that's like a whole genre.
Jack DeJohnette.
Yeah. That's a total subgenre of jazz now that, like, is fucking world class. Yeah. Yeah, and you had to turn something on its head first. But yeah, it can be difficult to jam with like a Chick Corea style drummer, unless you're super practiced and tight. Mm-hmm. It's a challenge for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like there, and then yeah, then it ran in the fusion electric world, and you get like Dennis Chambers.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of that music can be produced by one person though. Just track by track recording. I know a lot of that style of music is just recorded by one guy in a studio, just track by track.
Well, no, I'm saying like early years of like, you know, Miles Electric Band.
Oh, yeah.
And then Chick Corea Electric with, you know, Dennis and Jack DeJohnette and Steve Gadd. Like these were still bands reading compositions.
Right, yeah.
You know, but they were bringing in electric guitar and keyboards and that's more the era I'm speaking of, not like electronic.
Right.
As it is now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, even in the 80s, there were like new jazz electronica.
Yeah, well, like Autechre, I believe, was late 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think 89 was their first record, if I'm not mistaken.
And if we didn't have Autechre, they found Boards of Canada.
Yeah. And like Aphex Twin kind of came out of that. Plaid was another one that came out of them.
I saw Autechre. I told you that already.
Yeah, at the Mason Temple.
Yeah, Brooklyn Masonic Temple.
Yeah. Yeah, Autechre needs to tour more. I mean, they tour probably the most out of any electronic group out there.
I would say so, yeah.
Because most electronica groups just don't.
I don't think Board has toured in 15 years.
Oh, probably more than that.
20?
Yeah, I think 2002 was like their last show. And I'm pretty sure they've only played 9 or 10 shows in their entire career. They just don't play live.
It's not their thing.
Yeah, it's just not their thing.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, they like live in an off-grid community out in the middle of Scotland. Like, they're just, they're not interested.
They're just killing it.
Yeah, they're great. They're such a huge inspiration to me these past, like, 7 years. I mean, you were the one who told me about them. I'd never even heard of them until I met you.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know who they were. Like, I knew who Autechre and Plaid, I knew who all those guys were.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Boards of Canada never made it on my radar.
They're, like, a little sneaky.
Yeah, and then, like, you told me, you're like, this is my favorite group.
Yeah.
And it was, like, an electronica duo, and I was like, your favorite group is an electronica duo? I did not expect that from you. I was gonna think it was like, you know, Chick Corea or like Bela Fleck and the Flecktones or something. You're like, no, Boards of Canada. I'm like, okay. And then we listened to it in your car, and then I went home and bought like all their albums. I was like, this is the best shit I've ever heard in my life.
It's magnificent.
Yeah, I fucking love that shit.
They are the most slept on artists of this century.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In my opinion,
they're gonna be like posthumously famous one day, 30, 50 years from now.
Oh my God.
I mean, there are a lot of hipsters who are into them. It's like a hipster thing to be like,
oh, really?
I love Boards of Canada. Like, you get a lot of man bun wearing, beard wearing.
They like Boards of Canada and
who's Regina Spektor. Their two favorite bands. As they sip from a mason jar on a tall bike in the middle of Modest Mouse. The same ballpark. As they ride their tall bike in Austin, Texas.
I love Modest Mouse. They're amazing.
Yeah, they got a style.
Oh yeah,
it's not to my taste, but I appreciate it for what it is.
They cut their own rug, you know.
Yeah. I always appreciated those bands from like the 90s and early 2000s that like wrote their own music and still got famous. Mm-hmm. It's like, how'd you do that?
And then they kept riding with it and put out like 20 fucking 30 records.
Yeah, it's like most people
that's amazing.
Aren't allowed to write their own music when you get to that level. Like,
yeah.
How'd you guys manage to do that?
Mm-hmm. And they're still going.
Yeah.
I just got a thing on Spotify, which I didn't know that's a thing now, but it was an alert for a show.
Oh, cool.
That in like a month or something, Modest Mouse is playing some show around here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't go to rock shows anymore.
I can't either.
I always have to bring my hearing protection, and then I just get sick of the crowd.
Well, I always wear earplugs,
yeah.
But yeah, I get tired after a while. I'm just like,
yeah. I think the last show I went to was in Manhattan. It was Sound of Animals Fighting. It was like the RX Bandits and Circus Survive, kind of like a super band. They kind of got together and made like a super band.
Oh yeah.
And I used to love that band. I mean, I still love that band.
Yeah, but they were
Yeah.
Big influence.
Yeah, and I was so happy to finally see them because they had never played shows before. Because they're a super band, it's so hard to get together and do that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were finally playing 4 shows in the United States. It was going to be their only 4 shows ever. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. I'm going to go see them. And like they came on, I went into the crowd, and like I hadn't been to a rock show in a few years at that point. And I had been to more than 350 rock shows in my time. I used to go every single weekend to some show, punk rock, whatever. And I'd been retired from going to shows for a few years. We had been playing shows, but not being in the crowd. The crowd started swaying and surging with the music, and like no mosh pit opened up. So it was like everyone was just crammed in, like swaying, like an ocean of people. And I got motion sickness, and I had to sprint and just push everybody out of my way and get out of this place and into the hallway. And I was this close to throwing up. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. The crowd gave me fucking motion sickness. I'm like, I'm the old guy now who can't go to rock shows anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm at that point now, too.
I hit the fucking ceiling, man.
I had a choo-choo train, a mutual friend of ours, out of a Mars Volta concert crowd once.
Yeah. Nice.
They looked there and they're like, I need water.
Yeah,
I was
let's
like,
go.
Are you all right? And they're like, yeah, I just need some water. And I'm like, I'm having a spiritual experience watching this band right now.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. And they're like, no, you first.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like,
Okay.
oh, God damn it.
That sucks.
So I was like, all right. So I turned to go into the crowd, like towards like the bar areas, get some water for him. He puts both his hands on my shoulders.
The choo-choo trains your way out.
I'm choo-choo training you out.
Oh, God. That's silly. That reminds me, oh, man, in 2003, I went to the Vans Warped Tour. And
I never went to a Warped Tour once in my life.
I've been to a few.
I was going to Gigantor at that period of time. Megadeth, Dream Theater, Opeth. I was like in that world for some reason.
Right. I was more into the punk rock side.
Yeah, I missed the punk thing a little.
But it was the last band. It was Taking Back Sunday. And all the other bands had stopped playing, so like all the other stages were empty, so everybody was going to the main stage, which is like a bad thing at a festival like this.
Bum rush.
Yeah. And
can you say that anymore?
Bum rush? Yeah, that's just a crush. Let's call it a crush. Yeah, a crowd crush.
It was a crush, crowd crush.
Yeah.
Those CCs.
And we were right at the stage, right at the metal gate thing.
Oh, and you started getting mushed?
Yeah, we started getting mushed.
Oh, no.
Like, we're gonna die here. Like, this is how people die.
Yeah, yeah.
And my friend Mike just had the most brilliant idea. He just puts his hands up to his mouth and pretends like he has to throw up, and it was like Moses parting the Red Sea. Everybody got out of our way.
Nobody likes puke.
Nobody wanted to get puked on. And then we got to the end of the crowd, and he just started laughing his ass off. He's like, I can't believe that worked. So if you're ever in a crowd crush, pretend like you got a puke.
That's great.
And you get the power of Moses.
Or have like hardcore fart smells. Like one of those fart spray cans.
Oh, this crowd was so gnarly, no one would have smelled it, man.
Really?
Oh, there's just crust punks everywhere.
It's the puke thing, okay.
A few bands before Taking Back Sunday was the Suicide Machines. Have you ever heard of them?
Yes.
They're one of my favorites. And they had everybody do a Braveheart. They divided the whole crowd.
Oh, yeah. Lamb of God would do that. Yeah. They called it the Wall of Death.
The Wall of Death.
Yeah.
And
Braveheart.
Like, yeah. Like, when we start playing, you guys just run at each other. And, like, me and my friends, we're, like, 15 years old or whatever. And we're like, this is insane. Like, we're going to get fucking killed in here. Like, this isn't happening. And just crowds of people. Just
so funny.
Crash.
It's so funny, though, that, like, you brought up that, like, you can't go to shows anymore. Now, did this happen after COVID?
Oh, no. This was years ago.
It was before? Okay. Because for me,
like 9 years ago.
It was...
We were playing in Impossible Cities at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. We invited you to the show, but you didn't want to go. Sound of Animals Fighting. You were like, nah, I don't know them. I don't care.
Really?
Yeah,
because I love them now.
Really?
But no, I think I've also...
You didn't want to go.
I have also always had that thing where, like, it's hard for me to go to shows.
Yeah. I got to be really into it.
Unless, like, I know every song.
Yeah.
And, like, maybe this is the last time I'll ever see this band.
Yeah, that's why I went.
And I need to put it in my back pocket, which
Exactly.
I probably should have went to it, but
It was an amazing show.
I'm sure it was.
And when I got out of the crowd, I just went behind the crowd up to where the bar was, and there was no people in front of me, and I just chilled on this whole empty floor by myself the whole time. Like, this is fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, this is great. Why did I even try to go into the crowd?
Phil Collins was one of the greatest concerts I've ever seen in my life.
My dad saw Genesis on their first show in the United States.
Wow. Yeah, my parents said they saw Genesis when they were kids too at I think they said Montclair College basketball court.
Dude. This might have been the same damn show.
It might have been.
Were they? It was only like.
And they
10
said there was
people
like an issue with like the door because the crowd was like
Oh,
waiting
this is a different show.
and like pushing to try to get into the gym doors.
No, this was before anybody had heard of Genesis.
They sold them like multiple times though
Yeah.
throughout their career of like coming to America. But I think they said the first time they saw them was at Montclair State University or something like that.
Yeah, this was.
Who knows? They could correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, because there was nobody in the crowd. It was my dad, like 3 of his friends, and like 9 other people. And
What?
it was empty.
Yeah.
But they still played with all the pyrotechnics, and they put their whole heart and soul in it as if they sold the place out.
That's amazing.
And then, after the show, they brought out a portable barbecue, put it on stage, got all the whole crowd, all 12 of them or whatever, to just drink some beers and have some burgers with them. And my dad hung out with Phil Collins and all the dudes from Genesis. And
That's
he had
amazing.
beers and burgers with them in the middle of New Jersey. It's like, what? Yeah, they were such cool guys.
Phil's my favorite.
They had like fireworks and everything, like for 12 people in the audience. And they were jamming as if, that's so great.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you can play to just a group of people and you just put your whole heart and soul into it as if there's a million people there. That's a good band.
It's the only way to be.
Yeah. Like that's how you know you're a good fucking band.
Or at least that you have a good heart.
Yeah. That'll make your music better, even if it sucks.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got that soul.
I mean, look at Bob Dylan. I'm just kidding. I love Bob Dylan.
How many roads
The Hurricane.
does the man walk down?
The Hurricane is so good, that song.
Oh God, I used to love Bob Dylan's music, and then like he just started singing worse and worse and worse as time went on.
Well, he had like serious drug problems.
Yeah, I know. And, I mean, he technically always sucked. Like, no, he's great. I'm not saying he like sucks, but like if you listen to his first couple of records, he's speeding up and slowing down on guitar. He's singing out of key. He's hardly singing at all. He's kind of just shouting into a microphone with like totally out of rhythm guitar. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. And it's like, for the time period, that was cool. It was like fresh and new. And it was just like, there's just this dude just doing his thing. And it's fucking awesome. Someone does that today, you'd get laughed out of the venue. Like they expect you to sound perfect.
We're used to computers now.
Yeah, everything's got to be right in
All
time.
this AI shit that's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like that's what I like about Bob Dylan is that he didn't give a shit. He's like, I'm just gonna play what I can and just go with it. And everybody loved it, but like you can't do that today.
Yo.
People would laugh at you, tell you.
You know what I
suck.
had been thinking? Is booking gigs. Say like a 20-minute set.
20 minutes?
25-minute set. A lot of DIY gigs, you get 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah.
They give you a half hour, but if you play 2.5 hour, including setup and breakdown, it gets too crazy. So you just play 20 minutes, 24 minutes, something like that, right?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about booking gigs, and for 23 minutes, just going.
Yeah. And just not doing anything else. What kind of venue? Like, where would you try to book something like that?
Anywhere.
Yeah.
And just do that for like 23 minutes.
Okay. That's interesting.
Because what are you going to do?
Walk away.
You going to just leave the bar?
Yeah. I've left bars when I've been annoyed by the music.
Would you be annoyed by that? Because I feel
Actually,
like
no.
if you stayed for at least 10 minutes, it might turn into a spiritual experience.
Yeah, and if it wasn't a show, if you were playing at like a nightclub or a bar where people are carrying on, having conversations, having drinks, just hanging out, that would be fantastic. If it was a show to see you, I don't think I'd give a flying fuck.
You'd be mad?
Yeah, I'd be like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Unless you were upfront about it and had an intention to do that. Then I'd be like, okay, this is an interesting thing. He's trying something new.
It is my intention.
But if like...
It's a meditation.
Okay, if you advertise it as such, then yeah, I'd be totally into that. But if you told me this was like a rock show or a drum solo and it was just a half hour of boom bap...
Yeah, I don't do...
I'd be pissed. But if you said this is a shamanic beat experience, then I'd be like, okay, cool. I don't know what I'm in for, but he's upfront about something different.
Oh yeah, so maybe you could be upfront with it by just like coming up with a creative name that like kind of alludes to that.
You'd have to be totally upfront. Like, don't trick me into that saying this is some kind of jazz show or something like.
I wouldn't say call it a jazz show.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to just like go unnamed.
Okay, that's an interesting idea too.
With a mask on, you don't know who I am. You're not coming there to see me play drums, and I just play.
Right.
Maybe 15 minutes in, I start adding to it. You know, see just how the room progresses, and then grow with it.
Yeah.
And just it's almost like a social experiment.
Okay, you gotta pick the right venue for something like that. Because like if
I kind of want to do it at like any venue.
Okay.
I almost want to put myself in a
experiment.
situation where people are going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Well, the thing is like...
And then eventually they're like...
I mean, are you going to get
wow,
people...
it's been 10 minutes and he's still doing that.
Yeah. Like, are you going to get people to pay $10 to get into, like, a venue that has just bands? And then supposed to stand there and watch a band?
No.
Yeah.
I would want to just start doing it, like, free shows.
Yeah, that would be fine. I think you'd be successful doing that. If it was, like, at, like, a band performance venue.
I'm not looking for currency. I'm looking for another type of currency in doing this.
Yeah. People would expect something different if like you were getting charged at the door to see that. They'd be like, well, what am I paying to see? You'd probably get like 2 people to show up.
Yeah.
You know, unless you were upfront about it and said what it was, then you'd get more people. Like I used to do that out in Iowa with a bunch of people. We would have like kirtan circles, like drum circles and mantra chanting, and I would play my acoustic guitar, and we would just start somewhere with just like me and 2 other people, and then like we'd be there all day, and then like another person would like show up with a djembe that we didn't even know who they were, and then another person would show up with an acoustic guitar, then a couple other people just sit down and start clapping along, and then by like 3 p.m. we'd have like 45 people sitting around.
Here could be a cool idea.
All strangers.
I set up my kit, and I just play that for 25 minutes, but I put a guitar on the stage, a bass on the stage, a keyboard, a microphone. Yeah. Like, everything's here.
Your own impromptu jazz club.
And no one ever comes up, you know?
They'd probably
sometimes
they would wonder if it was okay if they could pick up the guitar.
Yeah.
They'd probably be like, well, it's not my guitar. I don't know if I can pick it up. But it's like the Blue Note Jazz Club. They used to do that when I was a kid.
The Blue Note did that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like every Thursday night. It was
like jam sessions.
Jam sessions.
Yeah, it was curated by someone. Yeah.
No. I just showed up with my bass guitar whenever I wanted to. And when the bassist would get tired and go away, I would just jump up on stage. And
but usually those nights are curated by one person.
And they allow it
and
to
they curate the open mic night. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
they didn't know me.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to be anybody. It's like I forget this place, Ringside Pub.
Yeah.
Like I like curated once or twice where it was my drum set. I played 15 minutes in the beginning, and then for 2 hours I'm just like bullshitting with people, and then I play 15 minutes at the end.
Yeah.
And it's just like, use my drums, go up. Anybody who's here, if you want to play, figure it out. If maybe sometimes they have a list.
Yeah.
I didn't know Blue Note did that.
Yeah. I mean, that was when we were teenagers. That was a long time ago.
Because that's like fancy ass club now. That's like one of the more expensive jazz clubs in Manhattan.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to not be so nice. It was always nice to me.
Yeah, I love the Blue Note.
But they did like renovations recently, and it's like,
oh, did they?
Yeah, it's like super nice now.
Like Simon Phillips plays.
Yeah.
You know, like big names.
BB King used to just show up every once in a while.
Yeah. Fat Cats right across the street. That's a fun place. You could play ping pong.
Yeah.
They were pretty much always open.
Yeah.
They had jams like every night, even if they had an artist coming in and doing a set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I played there once. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I used to meet older musicians when I was like learning how to play. And I was like, well, I don't want to go to school for this. I don't care about like doing that. So I'm just gonna find older people who are better than me and just bother them until they teach me how to play bass. And a lot of them were super nice about it. A lot of them were they're like, yeah, this is a C major 7 and you could play these bass notes when I play the C major 7 chord. I'm like, okay, cool. And then we move into this chord and you can play these notes. I'm like, okay, this is what I've been looking for. And they were super patient and super friendly, like just fucking around. This 12-year-old kid, like my dad would just drop me off when I was like 12 years old.
That's how it should be.
And then I would just like hang out with these older jazz musicians, and that's pretty much how I learned how to play bass. Or like that's how I learned music theory anyway. Like what chords, what notes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go to school if you're just social. Just find an old guy who's better than you. Just bother the hell out of him. If he's a nice guy, it'll work out. If he's a mean guy, then he yells at you, tells you to fuck off. You find someone else. Like, I'm not spending $100,000 to go to college for this shit. Fuck that. There are ways around it.
I told you that story, right? About the degree.
The degree?
Yeah. My friend's degree.
I don't know.
I'm not going to use any names.
Okay.
I had a friend, and his grandfather was in a prestigious
conservatory, music school.
We'll call it that.
Okay.
Orchestra.
Oh, okay. Philharmonic or jazz?
Orchestra. Prestigious orchestra.
Oh, you don't want to get specific?
Yeah, I don't want to get
gotcha.
specific.
My bad.
And the bassist in my band was going to school for jazz and playing electric.
Bass?
So we go over for dinner, and he goes, "Oh, I heard you're the bass player." He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to school for jazz at this school." I go, "Jazz?
No.
Well, at least you're playing upright or double bass." He goes, "Well, actually, I'm playing electric." He goes, "You know what you could do with that degree?" He goes, "No, what?" He goes, "Wipe your ass with it."
That's hilarious.
We were crying.
As an electric bass player, I kind of agree with him. Like, why'd you get a degree in electric bass? Just learn how to play, man.
I mean, he could play, but he preferred to play electric.
Yeah, it's more fun than upright.
Yeah, he could play upright, but he's like, man, I don't carry that fucking shit around.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, you don't want to carry a fucking upright bass.
Yeah.
That shit. Oh, God.
I mean, that's what happened with Paul Motion.
Yeah.
Is they realized how much money they could save by not bringing a bassist on tour to Europe.
Yeah.
So then it just became the Paul Motion trio. It was him, Joe Lovano on sax, and Do on guitar. Damn it, he's one of my favorite guitar players of all time.
I don't know. What generation is he from?
Damn it. I have to say his name, otherwise it's going to eat at me.
Eat it, yeah. Yeah, my tennis instructor back when I was a kid was a bass player too, and he hated going to college for upright, just dragging this thing across campus, dragging it on the subway.
Bill Frisell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then
he's a good guitarist.
A magnificent guitarist, yeah. So then it was just guitar, sax, and drums. No bass.
Poor bass player.
But it then created such an amazing, like Paul Motion live in Tokyo. Have you heard that record?
No, I don't think I've heard
It's not easy to find. I don't think it's on Spotify for some reason. I believe the full thing's on like YouTube or something like that. But Paul Motion live in Tokyo is one of the greatest albums, ever.
If you want to play a good jazz jam, you have to go to Japan. There's something in the air, in the water.
Well,
I don't know what it is.
What's her name? The piano player, Hideki.
I don't know. But there are not only excellent Japanese jazz bands.
It took off in Japan.
But just non-Japanese people who go to Japan make their best jazz records in Japan. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, what is in the air? What is in the aura of Japan that makes such excellent jazz music?
Appreciation for an art form.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, my favorite jazz has been recorded in Japan.
We're here like jazz gigs. The crowd is just a bunch of jazz musicians.
Oh, I know. Dude, that's what it is at electronica
and they're just
gigs.
bitter.
Yeah. That's all it is at electronica gigs is just a bunch of synth nerds in the crowd. It's like you're just a synth nerd playing to other synth nerds and they're all just judging you.
Jazz world's pretty much like that in
Yeah.
New York, in my experience
Yeah.
anyway now.
Yeah.
It's, unless there's a few clubs where it's not so silly, like the Stone.
The Stone?
The Stone.
Stone?
That's
no, the Stone Pony, but that's not New
who
York.
owns the Stone? That's a cool venue,
The
man.
Kidney Stone. Yeah, I mean, oh man, electronica shows are
I wonder if it's still there.
just a bunch of electronica nerds just in the audience. And it's like, who here actually listens to electronica? It's like there aren't any fans.
John Zorn. You know John Zorn?
Nope.
He's like one of it's in Greenwich Village.
Greenwich.
Yeah, John Zorn.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure John Zorn's the one who started that
What? A band?
that website where you can go and it generates a description of something, and then you look at it as like the drummer, and it'll say, "Be like water flowing over smooth rocks." And now I'm the only one that knows that. And then I give you this one and it generates something new. And it says like, you're the fire within, or, and
Right.
only you know what you're doing. And then it's like a improvisation practice.
Yeah, what is that called?
I'm pretty sure it's
Called
on.
like the Nonsense Sage or something. It's from
I'm pretty sure John Zorn is the one who made that.
I remember hearing about that. It's based on an old Chinese collection of scrolls and notes that people had added to over the centuries. And it was like this sort of philosophical communications game that medieval Chinese people used to play or
Really?
pass it around. And it was just like a bunch of random kind of like nonsense phrases, and you would put two of them together to form a weird concept.
Should I make a funny phone call?
I don't know.
Or should I try to Google it? I love FaceTiming people.
I don't know.
You don't like that?
Well, I mean, do they want to be on an internet show, these people?
I mean, I would tell them when he answers, if he answers.
Yeah.
Website. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I didn't know that was like an ancient,
Yeah, or like a medieval thing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That sounds like the modern version of it.
yeah, and it was like in like the contemporary, or not contemporary, rather, the improvisation world. It was like, it's almost like Cards Against Humanity,
Yeah,
but you're
right.
with a bunch of musicians.
Yeah. That sounds pretty cool.
It's like a fun game.
I love Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, that game is
It's
hilarious.
so funny.
Yes, it's like that game was so cool. I think we might have done it once or twice.
Yeah, back when
With the IP.
the IC,
With the IC, with the IC team.
the IC team.
Yeah, the ICT.
Yeah, the not possible urban areas,
The incomprehensible
built environment.
Yeah, it was craziness.
Yeah, I listened back to our latest record, our last record.
I haven't heard that in so fucking long.
It's really poorly mixed and mastered.
Is it?
It is pretty bad.
Oh, that sucks.
I know. Like, I remember it sounding better back then.
Mm.
And then I listened back to it. And now that I've had a lot of years of experience as an audio engineer, and I hear it, I'm like, yo, this is, like, we paid for this.
Whoa, it's that bad?
It's mud,
Is
man.
it still like on
Oh, on the streaming services? I don't know.
the internet?
I don't know. I found just the old files, the old WAV files that I had.
Oh, wow. You have the waves, too.
Yeah.
My goodness. Wow.
Yeah, I got all the original
We never got
files.
the stems.
Nope. Never got the stems. Because, like, I could remix it.
That's a classic move
Yeah.
for said individual.
Oh, right.
It's difficult to get the stems.
And the samples and the...
And I understand why, honestly. I do understand
You know, as a producer,
why.
you got to look out for your property.
It's like that's your thumbprint and whatnot. But yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing. It's just a thing. It's a fact of life in this industry.
Yeah.
It's just a headache.
It's normal. I guess that's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Because I love that person. Like,
he's
to death.
He's a cool dude.
He's amazing.
But he was so busy when he was mixing and mastering our record. He was on the road. He had like 4 other projects. Like,
He was
working
on his shit. Yeah, I think he mixed it on headphones on the road.
Yeah, and he was like starting a new business. So, like, I don't really blame him.
And he was doing that because he didn't want to make us wait like an extra 4 months.
Yeah, and he had money issues. And so, like, I don't blame him.
He was doing us a favor.
Yeah, I don't blame him for the poor mix. I'm just saying it's the poor mix, unfortunately.
He's also like 8 years old.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I have to go back and listen to it if I can find it. If not, send it to me.
Yeah, I'll send you the files. But yeah, I wanted to like just throw the files into my DAW and like do a dirty remaster and see if I could get it sounding better. Mm-hmm. I might still do that, but it's like at the same time, I don't even want to hear that.
Just like a new master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like another layer of mastering.
Yeah.
It's like I'm mastering the masters.
Well, if you have the waves without the master.
Oh, no, it's with the master.
Oh.
I just have the finished waves. I don't have the mixed files. I have the fully released, distributed, 44 1/16-bit wave file.
Mm-hmm.
But, they have this really nice mastering software that's for like emergencies, Ozone by Isotope, where like it has this one plugin where like you can be like raise or lower the drums, raise or lower the bass, raise or lower the guitar. It like kind of has this really good computer program in it that can like detect these different parts. And so it's like in an emergency, you can like remaster a master or like remix a master. It's pretty tricky. It's pretty cool.
Actually any good, though?
It works pretty well in an emergency. As a professional, I would never fucking use this unless I absolutely goddamn had to.
Yeah.
In a situation like this, for my own personal edification.
For fun,
I would totally do it.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Because you just do it to one song.
Yeah, and see how.
And then just print it to the whole thing.
Yeah, because it is pretty consistent from song to song.
Oh yeah.
I think he made a template for us and then just stuck to it.
Yes.
Because the guitar is distorted a certain way in every song that was not the live recording. My bass is EQ'd in a certain way in every song that was not in the live recording. So he definitely had some type of template.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was a pretty good template. Like he took our notes and he really tried his best.
I think he's a bad motherfucker.
A bamf.
I've done a lot of records with him.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people to record with.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does he still do it?
Oh, yeah. He's got a whole new studio.
Oh, cool. Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, he moved and built a whole new studio, facility, apartment for bands to stay at.
Yeah.
Really, really, really cool shit.
That's awesome.
And he's killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like working up at this place in Lafayette where there's a giant barn that was converted into a music studio. And upstairs is like a whole...
Wait, what's it called?
Ponderosa.
Yeah. I've recorded there.
Yeah? Yeah. I love that place.
Ponderosa is really, really cool.
I've been there a ton of times. I love the producer there, Tom. He's such a cool dude.
Yeah, the older guy.
Yeah. And I've spent weekends there with bands like in the apartment upstairs. And it's just a chill.
Yeah, Ponderosa is really cool.
Yeah.
The beautiful studio.
Yeah.
Really beautiful place.
Like that's some professional shit.
Yeah.
Like
that's a nice spot.
Top tier recording studio.
I've never been to Barbershop. I heard that's a good one.
I haven't been there either.
There's so many.
Yeah. I mean, I looked for like recording studios in New Jersey and there's like fucking 3,000 of them.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus, how did I not know there were this many? And a lot of them are nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, this is the place to record music. Like,
it's the one in Asbury.
The one in Asbury? I feel like they're mostly in Asbury.
The big one in Asbury.
I don't know. I can't think of it.
It's above Russo's Music.
Is Russo's Music still around? The record store?
Is it not called Russo's Music?
I think so. Is it still around?
It's like a music shop.
Like the guitar shop. I don't know.
On Lake Street? Lake Ave?
I don't know.
The studio's called Lake House.
Yeah. I recorded in a real lake house once.
Lake House is ridiculous. Like, they have movable floors.
Oh, I've heard of
the
that.
Vibration goes to the other rooms and like
floating floors or whatever.
Yeah, 500 snare drums.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
1 bass guitar, 300 guitars.
Yeah, it's always just one bass guitar. It's just like a Fender P bass hanging on the wall.
I don't know the gear they have, but it's a beautiful studio.
Yeah. I'm sure it was much nicer than the lake house I recorded in Pennsylvania. That was a fun time. An actual lake house.
It's fun to do that. Yeah. I've done a couple trips like that.
Yeah.
And you kind of just set up and
turn the living room into a studio. Get higher than you ever should, and then record a record.
A bunch of eggs. Eat a lot of eggs.
Eat a lot of eggs.
Yeah.
Yep. Little cabin.
Yeah.
Bunk beds. Dirty ass couch.
Lakeside lazing.
Lazing. Yeah, there's a little dock that went out into the water. That, like, if we were getting on each other's nerves, one of us would just go out to the dock and decompress. Because we spent like 2.5 weeks in this fucking place.
Oh, yeah. I only did like 5 days.
Yeah.
We had like canoes.
Yeah. Kayaks.
Kayaks, yeah. Not canoes, kayaks.
Yeah, that was a fun record. I still have that one too.
What band was that?
We had like 4 different fucking names. We couldn't decide. It was Clayfish, Wilson and James, Mari. We had a bunch of different
Did you
names.
release?
We never distributed it, no.
Huh, okay.
We sold some CDs at shows.
So what's the point of the story?
It was because you said it was a lake house studio, and I recorded an actual lake house. Or lake cabin.
Didn't happen. Conspiracy theory.
I got the record.
Fuck it with you.
Yeah.
Never happened.
Never happened. Pixar didn't happen. I don't have it. Actually, I think we did take some photos, but I definitely don't have those. This is ancient history.
Yeah.
This was like 18 years ago.
Wow.
Maybe 15.
Oh boy.
But that was fun. Just getting yelled at by the guitarist constantly for playing too laid back. That guy drank too much coffee. He wanted everything on the beat, ahead of the beat. And I was like, oh man, okay. I gotta like drink some soda real quick.
To each his own.
Yeah, it's like I can't have the vibe he's looking for. I'm like too fucking laid back with my shit. He's like, you gotta jump on the beat. And I'm like, you gotta stop drinking coffee.
Don't talk about my caffeine like that.
Yeah, right. It's offensive.
Yeah. Right, man.
All right, man.
I think we did it.
We did it. We made it.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you all next week.
This is the last time we'll ever do this episode.
Yeah. If it's not, that would be very bizarre.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Fighting my statement.
Fighting your statement?
Well, you're saying if it's not the last time we ever did this episode, it would be very bizarre.
It would be.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah, like some weird deja vu thing that you actually relive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I would question my sanity. I would not enjoy that.
You're right. All right, man.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Deuces.
On Key of Thought.